"I'm innocent, please, you have to believe me. I'm innocent," she pleaded as the angry villagers set her ablaze. In a lively village called Léké, there lived a young girl named Nola. Nola was the beloved daughter of Kemi and Ajoa, who were known for their wealth and kindness. Nola's life was filled with joy, surrounded by the vibrant colors of the market, the sweet melodies of village songs, and the warm laughter of her parents. She loved exploring the village, where everyone knew her and greeted her with smiles. Her home was a grand house with tall, wooden doors and bright, woven rugs. In this house, there was a room that no one ever entered. Nola often wondered about this room, but her parents always told her it was forbidden. "Some things are better left alone," her father, Kemi, would say with a gentle smile. Despite her curiosity, Nola was content. She had everything she needed: loving parents, good friends, and a life filled with happiness. She would often play with her friends in the village, running through the fields and climbing trees. Life was perfect, and Nola couldn't ask for more. However, one sunny day, tragedy struck. Nola's parents went on a boating trip, as they often did, but this time, they did not return. The villagers searched for days, but eventually, they found the broken pieces of the boat washed up on the shore. The news was devastating: Kemi and Ajoa were gone forever. Nola's world shattered. She was alone and orphan at such a young age. The villagers, who loved her dearly, took turns caring for her, bringing her food, and helping with the chores. Despite their kindness, Nola felt a deep emptiness inside. The laughter and joy that once filled her home were replaced with silence and sorrow. Days turned into weeks, and Nola struggled to find her way through the grief. One day, while sitting by the village well, she met two kind-hearted twins, Emeka and Amara. The twins were known for their helpful nature and gentle spirits. They approached Nola with warm smiles and offered to help her with the household tasks. "We'll take care of you, Nola," Emeka said, his eyes filled with compassion. "You're not alone," Amara added, holding Nola's hand. Grateful for their support, Nola welcomed them into her home. The twins brought a sense of normalcy back into her life. They cleaned, cooked, and made sure she was well cared for. Slowly, Nola began to feel a glimmer of hope. Maybe, just maybe, she could find happiness again. Despite the help of Emeka and Amara, the forbidden room continued to intrigue them all. The door, with its intricate carvings, seemed to call out to them. Emeka, with his curious nature, often found himself standing in front of it, wondering what secrets it held. One evening, as they sat together after dinner, Emeka and Amara whispered about the room. "What do you think is inside?" Emeka asked his sister. "I don't know," Amara replied, her eyes wide with curiosity. "But it must be something important if no one is allowed to enter." Nola listened to their conversation, feeling a mixture of fear and curiosity. She had always respected her parents' wishes, but now, with them gone, the room seemed to hold a piece of the mystery surrounding their lives. "What if we just peek inside?" Emeka suggested. "Just to see what's so special about it." Nola hesitated. She had always been taught to obey her parents, but the law of the unknown was strong. "Maybe we shouldn't," she said quietly. "What if something bad happens?" Amara placed a comforting hand on Nola's shoulder. "We'll be careful," she assured her. "We just want to understand. Maybe it will help us all feel closer to your parents." With mixed feelings, Nola agreed to their plan. The twins promised to be cautious, and they decided to explore the room the next day, hoping to uncover the secrets that had been hidden for so long. As night fell, Nola lay in her bed, her mind racing with thoughts of what they might find. The forbidden room, once a symbol of mystery, was now a beacon of hope. Maybe it held answers, maybe it held closure. With a heart full of anticipation and a touch of fear, Nola drifted off to sleep, unaware of the dark path that lay ahead. The next morning, the air buzzed with excitement and apprehension. Nola, Emeka, and Amara gathered in front of the forbidden room. Emeka held a small key he had found in his father's study, suspecting it might unlock the door. "Are you ready?" Emeka asked, looking at his sister and Nola. Nola nodded, her heart pounding in her chest. "Let's do it." With a steady hand, Emeka inserted the key into the lock. The door creaked open slowly, revealing a dark, dusty room. The air inside was musty, and a faint light filtered through a small, high window. They stepped inside, their footsteps echoing in the silence. The room was filled with old furniture, covered in white sheets. Cobwebs hung from the ceiling, and a thick layer of dust covered everything. In the center of the room stood a large, ornate mirror with strange symbols carved around its frame. "What is this place?" Amara whispered, her eyes wide with wonder. Nola looked around, feeling a mix of fear and curiosity. "I don't know. My parents never spoke about it." As they explored the room, they noticed a small, locked chest in the corner. Emeka approached it, trying the same key. To their surprise, it worked. Inside the chest, they found old letters, photographs, and a book with a dark cover. Amara picked up the book, brushing off the dust. "It's some sort of diary," she said, flipping through the pages. "But it's written in a language I don't understand." Nola glanced at the photographs, recognizing her parents in some of them. "These are from when they were young," she said, feeling a pang of sadness. While they were engrossed in their discoveries, the mirror in the center of the room began to glow. A soft, eerie light emanated from it, catching their attention. "What's happening?" Emeka exclaimed, stepping back. The light grew brighter, and before they could react, the room seemed to spin around them. They felt themselves being pulled towards the mirror, and suddenly, everything went black. When they awoke, they found themselves in a strange, unfamiliar place. The air was thick, and the sky was a deep shade of purple. Trees with twisted branches surrounded them, and eerie whispers filled the air. "Where are we?" Nola asked, her voice trembling. Emeka and Amara looked around, equally bewildered. "I don't know," Emeka replied. "But we need to stick together." As they tried to make sense of their surroundings, they noticed something alarming. Emeka was struggling to see, squinting and blinking. "I can't see clearly," he said, panic in his voice. Amara, on the other hand, was touching her ears, her expression filled with fear. "I can't hear anything," she said, her voice barely a whisper. Nola felt a wave of fear wash over her. They were in a strange place, and her friends were losing their senses. She took a deep breath, trying to stay calm. "We need to find a way out of here," she said firmly. "We can't let this place beat us." Despite their impairments, Emeka and Amara nodded in agreement. Together, they began to explore the strange land, hoping to find a way back home. The ground beneath them was uneven, and strange creatures darted in and out of the shadows. As they walked, Nola tried to keep their spirits up. "We'll get through this," she said, holding their hands tightly. "We just need to stay together." Hours turned into days, and their hope began to wane. They were tired, hungry, and scared. Nola's heart ached for her friends, who were struggling more each day. They had faced many challenges together, but this was unlike anything they had ever encountered. One night, as they huddled together for warmth, Emeka spoke up. "I'm sorry, Nola," he said, his voice barely audible. "This was my idea. I never meant for any of this to happen." Amara nodded, tears streaming down her face. "We just wanted to help," she said. "We never imagined it would turn out like this." Nola squeezed their hands, her eyes filled with determination. "It's not your fault," she said firmly. "We made this decision together. And we'll find a way out together." But as days turned into weeks, their situation grew more dire. Nola's hope began to fade, and the whispers in the air grew louder, more menacing. The strange land seemed to be alive, watching their every move. Back in the village, the disappearance of Ezina and Amara had caused a stir. The villagers were worried and confused. They searched the fields and the forest but found no trace of the twins. The foul odor that began to emanate from Nola's house only added to their fear and unease. The village elders, alarmed by the situation, decided to intervene. They approached Nola's house with heavy hearts, determined to uncover the truth. When they entered the forbidden room, the sight that greeted them was beyond their worst nightmares. The bodies of Ezina and Amara lay lifeless on the floor, their faces pale and their eyes wide open. The room, once filled with curiosity and mystery, now held a dark and terrible secret. The elders realized that something malevolent had claimed the innocent lives of the twins. Shockwaves rippled through the village. Fear and anger took hold of the villagers, and they turned on Nola, blaming her for the tragedy. Despite her innocence, Nola was condemned by the people she had known her entire life. They accused her of foul play, and their anger knew no bounds. As the villagers gathered, their faces twisted with rage, Nola stood before them, her heart breaking. She pleaded for them to understand, to believe her, but their minds were made up. Consumed by fear and ignorance, they decided to take justice into their own hands. Nola was tragically burned at the stake, her cries of innocence falling on deaf ears. The flames rose high, and the village watched in silence, their hearts heavy with the weight of their actions. The once vibrant village of Léké was now shrouded in sorrow and regret. Years passed, and the villagers got to know by a revelation that Nola was innocent. They were ostracized and isolated for 10 long years. The villagers, having experienced the consequences of hasty judgment, realized the gravity of their mistake in condemning Nola. The ordeal served as a harsh lesson. The villagers came to understand the importance of seeking the truth, avoiding rash judgments, and treating others with fairness and compassion. They erected a memorial for Nola, a constant reminder of the tragic consequences of their actions. The story of Nola, Ezina, and Amara became a cautionary tale, a reminder of the dangers of fear, ignorance, and prejudice. It highlighted the importance of empathy, justice, and the pursuit of truth. The villagers of Léké, forever changed by the tragedy, vowed to never let such a mistake happen again.